Troops neutralize 8 terrorists following raid on Boko Haram enclave in Borno State. Zamfara lawmaker, ex-LG chairman, district head, nabbed over banditry and kidnapping allegations. The Tigers record second ever Olympics victory, beat Australia 75-62. And on the foreign scene, Libyan court hands jail terms to officials linked to deadly Derna Dam's collapse. Hello, welcome to News Updates on Trust TV. I am Lilian Ogazi. And now to the news. Troops of the 151 Battalion of the Nigerian Army conducting counter-terrorism, counterinsurgency operations under the auspices of Operation Hadinkai in northeastern Nigeria have eliminated 8 terrorists in Bula Marwa just ahead of Siraja village in Borno State. The troops in a dawn raid operation conducted in conjunction with hybrid civilian joint task force launched into the terrorist enclave in the early hours of Sunday, 28 July 2024, gallantly neutralizing the terrorists in a fierce gun battle. According to an army statement, the troops also recovered 1 automatic grenade launcher, an MK rifle, and a bag containing a pair of desert camouflage and other terrorist uniforms from the terrorists. Authorities say the troops are still carrying out further exploitations of the general area to smoke out any other terrorists hiding in the general area. The army, in its brief communique, assured Nigerians that the soldiers will continue to be undaunted in combating terrorism and insurgency in synergy with sister services and other security agencies in defense of the nation and in protection of the citizens. A member of the Zamfara State House of Assembly, Aminu Ibrahim, who represents Kaura Namoda State constituency, is in police custody over alleged banditry and kidnapping. The Commissioner of Police in the state, CP Mohammed Shehu Dalijan, confirmed the arrest of the lawmaker in an exclusive interview in Gusau. He revealed also that the district head of Kaura Namoda, Alhaji Jafar Abdullahi, and a former chairman of the local government, Nasir Muhammad, are in police custody over similar allegations. The police commissioner said 3 district heads of Danjiba, Bukuyum and Ungawa in Safe and Bukuyum local governments, whose names have not been made public, are being investigated over the same issues. He said preliminary investigation by the police indicated that the district head of Kaura Namoda allegedly connived with 2 suspected bandits, collaborators, Alhaji Bala and Hali Sidi, and kidnapped 9 people in Gidan Sambo village in Kaura local government area. Meanwhile, the Commissioner of Police said the trio allegedly collected 800,000 naira ransom before they freed their captives. Now, moving on, earlier we spoke to Daily Trust regional editor. He gives us an update on the incident.
Sincerely speaking, from what we have heard from various citizens, they are not surprised because they have been agitating or crying out that because the issue has lingered in the state, maybe some high-profile personalities are being involved. So they have been calling on the authority to focus their searchlight on people that are in the corridor of power. And now with this development, people are very much happy that this time around, government and particularly the police has hit the nail in the head because to arrest a lawmaker, a serving lawmaker involved in this kind of crime, sincerely speaking, has shown a sign of a commitment on the part of the police and on the part of the government. Because if government is not committed, it might have crippled the investigation of the police. Maybe we have not or are able to reach this stage. I can assure you that from our interview with police commissioner, he has confirmed to me that the lawmaker has already been transferred to, his case has already been transferred to Abuja for further investigation. Maybe this development might have led to uncovering many people, particularly those in the corridors of power, maybe, that are involved in the crime of banditry in the Zamfara state.
Speaking of the efforts of the government, we've seen the governor Dauda Lawal come out, I think, earlier June to make complaints saying it seems insecurity has continued because there seemed not to be political will. And he even got backlash on this situation. So has there been any comment from the government house on this arrest?
Yeah, I have spoken with the chairman of the committee, that is investigative panel committee set up by the government. Because what happened was that when the police completed their preliminary investigation and submitted their report to government, the government wanted to, or the governor wanted to make sure that, yes, these people that are being accused really participated in the crime. So he set up another investigative committee headed by the Commissioner for Local Government, police, DSS, and other security agencies are all part of the committee, so that to further investigate the 3 district heads that are being investigated. So this is a sign of a commitment on the part of government. If government is not committed to the fight against banditry, obviously the governor might have not bothered to set up an investigative panel to further investigate the district head to ascertain their level of complicity in the crime.
So Zamfara state government is saying this is the end for insecurity in Zamfara, which mostly camp these bandits, and we know how they move from Zamfara to other parts of the northern region, especially the northeast. Would you say so far, based on your own, analogy, based on your own research, that there is a progress when it comes to, security matters in Zamfara state?
Sincerely speaking, there is. Because recently, if you can recall, one of the bandits leader has made a shocking revelation, which resulted to a response from the immediate first governor. And the governor, the present governor of Zamfara state, has keep on insisting that he will never negotiate with bandits. He will rather fight them to the end. And the commitment shown by the government, we can see there is progress.
That was our colleague Sumaya Abubakar speaking to Daily Trust Regional Editor Yushawa Adamu. Now, moving on, gunmen suspected to be hoodlums have attacked a Nigerian Customs Service patrol base in Koko, Kebbi State, resulting in the death of one officer and the abduction of another. The Kebbi State Command of the Nigerian Customs Service, in a statement signed by the Public Relations Officer Mohammed Tajuddin Salisu, said that gunmen trailed an anti-smuggling squad to their base at Koko, destroyed facilities, killed one custom officer, Dabu Umar, and abducted Babagana Abba Kabiru. The remains of the deceased was retrieved and conveyed to Kaduna for Islamic burial. The command's controller, Ernest Iheanacho, while consoling the bereaved of the family of the late officer, said that a manhunt has been launched to rescue the abducted officer. He urges officers at the borders to maintain a high level of professionalism and to always use available safety measures during operations. As economic hardship bites harder, Gombe craftsmen said the federal government's policies is affecting the cost of importing raw materials. They said while trying to curb the significant low patronage, some of government's policies are aggravating their suffering, as most of them are thinking of alternative means of livelihood. Hassan Kohli has more of this.
For many years, Dukawa was known for their various skills, including crafting guga, a traditional skin-made container designed to fetch water from a well. These craftsmen nowadays rely on importing old-tire tools as their raw materials. However, some economic policies of the government is impacting negatively on their businesses, making some of them less productive, while others are completely going out of business. For decades, we have been crafting and trading guga here in line Dukawa of Gunmen market. We have passed through numerous challenges before, which we defied them to continue our journey. But this time around, we are in their economic crisis, worsening by government policies, which has caused prices to go up. In fact, one will pay 10 to 13 million naira for a container worth only 5 million naira some years back, which makes it difficult for us to smoothly run our business. We did not have any supply since April this year because we will not be able to clear our containers and the ports. These policies has to be reviewed by the federal government because it is a threat to us and the government too. As you can see, most of my apprentices are just sitting here doing nothing. While Al-Hassan is struggling to adapt to the current conditions and maintain his craftsmanship, some of his colleagues are thinking otherwise. Well, we are having hard times in our businesses. Our raw material prices have skyrocketed. Something I used to buy for 3,500 naira in early 2023 is now 10,000 naira, a 300% price hike within a year and a half, which is unbearable for most of us. Additionally, our customers are not coming regularly to buy buga and ropes. They are complaining about the hike in price and transportation fares from their respective villages to Gunmen market. We are experiencing significant low patronage, and if the government did not reverse some of its harsh policies, we may abandon all of our ancient craft and look for alternatives to sustain our lives, because we all have families to feed. They said interventions from governments by way of policies adjustment will save their business from going into extinctions. From Gombe, Hassan Koli, reporting for Trust TV.
With few days left to the controversial end bad governance protest, senior government officials continue to advocate for dialogue, with sections of the populace lamenting the difficulties they face due to the twin policies of petrol removal subsidy and unification of the exchange rates. The top government functionaries maintain that the faceless nature of the protest has continued to worry the federal government for fears of the protest getting hijacked or getting marred by violence. Trust TV's Sagi Ibrahim brings us details in this report.
While interacting with Otega Ogra, a senior special assistant to the president on digital media, he expressed worry over the spate of insightful comments currently awash on social media. Mr. Ogra says this, coupled with the fact that organizers of the mass demonstration have remained faceless, has made it difficult for the government to engage them and address their demands.
It's guaranteed in the Constitution for every Nigerian, to speak or, civil dissent. The Constitution guarantees that. But at the same time, it is very important to note that there's a very thin line between civil dissent and violent, demonstrations. And that's what we're saying. The government is basically saying you have a right, to go out on the streets to protest if you want to. But in a situation where it has been said in the open on various platforms, everywhere, on Twitter, on Facebook, someone runs an online radio doing the same thing, that this is about destruction. This is about rage. This is about them attacking things. People have come out to say, oh, they are going to make Nigeria worse than Kenya.
Also, lawmakers who bore their minds on the development say that while the current administration admits that the country faces economic challenges, they precede the lifespan of the current government and would require the collective effort of all and sundry to address.
We believe that the government of President Tinubu has been telling us in Nigeria that yes, there's problem, and we know there's problem, and that problem does not start today. The problem had always been there, and then the government said, we know there's problem, we admit there's problem, and we know that a problem now is half solved, and that we are now dead serious in making sure that we solve those problems, especially economic problems, which has occasioned maybe the rising cost of living in Nigeria, especially food.
Of course, it is enshrined in our constitution, the right to freedom of assembly, protest, but it has to be peaceful, the qualification has to be there. So every Nigerian has the right to express their grievances with respect to government policies, government implementation that are at variance with their core expectation. It is ingrained in them to do that. But in doing that, you must show the part of peace that your freedom to express your grievances does not in any way inhibit other people's right. So it's a welcome development. They've sent their messages, and we at the end of leadership, we are equally receiving it, and we are doing something practical about it.
With barely a week left to what intends to be a 10-day marathon protest starting August 1, questions have begun to emerge around the motive and outcome of the planned nationwide picketing and whether it would yield its intended results. So far, leaders of many segments of society, including state governors, traditional rulers, religious leaders, and even student unions, among others, have spoken against the rally. Sagir Ibrahim, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The United States, United Kingdom and Canada have raised the alarm over the likelihood of violence during the planned August 1 #EndBadGovernance protest in the country. The three countries in separate travel alerts cautioned their nationals in Nigeria to avoid getting caught in the confrontation that might occur between the security agencies and protesters, citing past incidences. The advisory comes as apprehensive market leaders in Abuja, Sokoto, Kano, Katsina, Ogun, Oshu, Zamfara, Gombe and other parts of the country requested strong security around markets during the rallies. Also, in preparation for the demonstration, the police authorities have recalled all personnel on non-essential duties. First spokesperson Muyiwa Adejobi said the personnel withdrawal was in line with the Inspector General of Police's directive. He added that this was done to bolster the strength of the police, adding that the men will be deployed to fortify banks and other critical national assets. Now, away from that, presidential candidate for the Labour Party in the 2023 election, Peter Obi, has said a spokesperson for the party, Kenneth Okonkwo, remains an ally, despite the latter's criticism of his leadership style. Okonkwo on Sunday criticized Obi on his approach to party matters. Okonkwo, who joined the LP in 2022, accused Obi of failing to resolve the internal crisis rocking the party. According to the movie maker turned politician, Obi did not do enough to build the party and solve the party's leadership crisis. However, in his response via his X handle on Monday, the former governor said Okonkwo's differing opinion does not make him an enemy, but rather a strong voice and a friend. He urged all believers of a new Nigeria to remain strong, resilient and focused, and to refrain from discouragement or negative remarks towards Kenneth Okonkwo or anyone who leaves or disagrees with their views, strategies, or tactics. This is news updates coming to you from Trust TV. Coming up, we'll be looking at how lack of evidence stall trial, persecution of offenders of gender-based violence. This and more when we return. Do stay. You are welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is news updates coming to you from Trust TV. Now let us take a look at our headline stories again. Troops neutralize 8 terrorists following raid on Boko Haram enclave in Borno. And Zamfara lawmaker, ex-local government chairman and district head nabbed over banditry and kidnapping allegations. Moving on, lack of evidence by molested persons is one of the factors affecting the fight against gender-based violence whenever such cases occur, especially in rural areas. According to the experts at a meeting in Kaduna, lack of evidence makes it difficult to take legal actions against the culprits. The report.
Kaduna State is among the states in Nigeria where cases of gender-based violence are often recorded. According to report, Kaduna State recorded 748 cases of emotional and psychological abuse and 349 cases of physical assault in 2023. This, according to stakeholders, is alarming.
It affects their life in so many ways. Some of them have been abused by their parents, some neighbors, some relatives, and sometimes some caregiver. Those you trusted, you keep your children with, they use that opportunity to abuse such children.
Some of them feel embarrassed to come out and feel how they feel or the pains. Some of them cannot tell you what happened. And sometimes, some cases, you may see as somebody will come and be complaining of something, or maybe they are having sleepless night, or they can't eat, but deep inside them there's a problem, and they can't come out clearly and say this is what had happened, because they are afraid of the society or what the society may say, or the Christian.
The conversation among many advocates in the fight against GBV is difficulty in establishing evidence, especially when seeking justice for the victims.
Please, when incidences of rape, sexual abuse, or any kind of abuse happens, don't be quick to wash off the person. I know that there is how it is irritating to look at and all, but please do not rush to wash them off. Bring them, if you cannot take them to the primary health care, bring them to the centers. We have 4 centers.
On the side of government and civil societies, reporting the case by the community members is key to fighting the menace.
So we are soliciting, if these things happen within the community needs to report this and not to keep it within themselves, thinking it's a family matter, or I don't want my child to be exposed, so he's going to have trauma. But by the time you report these things, then we'll know the actions to take.
And looking at the aspect of the psychosocial support, which is a very critical component when dealing with survivors of violence, and seeing that you support them through healing process. A lot of them have gone through various forms of traumatic experiences.
Kaduna is at the 5th position among the 36 states and Abuja in terms of reporting sexual gender-based violence data. Stakeholders say creating awareness and the training of the actors in the fight against SGBV is the key to achieving desired results. Bella Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Now away from Nigeria, a Libyan court on Sunday handed jail sentences to more than 10 current and former officials for their links to the deadly collapse of 2 dams outside the coastal city of Derna in September. A court in Libya on Sunday sentenced 12 current and former officials to terms of up to 27 years in prison over their involvement in the collapse of 2 dams last year that sent a wall of water several meters high through the center of a coastal city. The resulting flood killed thousands of people, according to the World Health Organization. The 2 dams outside the city Derna broke up in September 11th after they were overwhelmed by Storm Daniel, which caused heavy rain across eastern Libya. The failure of the structures inundated as much as a quarter of the city. The Derna Criminal Court on Sunday convicted 12 current and former officials of mismanagement, negligence and mistakes that contributed to the disaster, according to a statement from the office of the country's top prosecutors. The defendants, who were responsible for managing the country's dams, were given prison terms that range from 9 to 27 years, the statement said, without identifying them. And in sport, the Tigress of Nigeria this morning beat world 3rd best ranked team Australia 75-62 in the opening game of the Paris 2024 Olympics. The Tigress won first half 41-28. Ezinne Kalu was at the heart of it all for Nigeria, making a game-high 17 points. The Tigers trailed 8 points in the first quarter before overturning it. They will play France on August 1st and Canada August 4th. In Athens 2004, they defeated South Korea in an inconsequential classification game after crashing out. They had lost all 5 games and conceded over 400 points in their group. With that, we've come to the end of news updates here on Trust TV. Do well to follow us across all our social media platforms for more news, more programs, and more documentaries. Thanks for watching. I am Lilian Ogazi. Bye for now.